Good morning to each and everyone. At this morning, we will discuss to you about the laws of learning Thorndike 1932.
Okay, let's proceed to the law of exercise. Law of exercise refers to a psychological principle that states that the more often a stimulus and response association is reinforced, the stronger the association becomes and the more likely to the response is to occur. This principle is often associated with the work of Edward Thorndike, an influential psychologist known for his research on learning and behavior. Bago tayo mag-proceed doon, sino nga ba si Edward Lee Thorndike? Edward Edward Thorndike was an American psychologist who spent nearly his entire career at Teachers College, Columbia University. His work on comparative psychology and learning process led to the theory of connectionism and helped lay the scientific foundation for educational psychology. So, ayun. Um, According to Thorndike law of exercise, when a connection between a stimulus and response is repeatedly reinforced, the likelihood of that response occurring in the presence of that stimulus increases. In other words, the more an action is practiced or repeated, the stronger the association between the stimulus and the response become. So, kung magtataka kayo, ano nga ba yung stimulus? Stimulus is a thing or event that evokes a specific functional reaction in an organ or tissue. So, ayun, no? Yung law of exercise daw ay walang pinagkaiba sa tinatawag nating motor learning. Which is kapag palagi mong inuulit ang isang bagay, the more likely na natututo ka. Like for example, let's just say you are learning to play the piano. Initially, pressing the correct keys may require conscious effort and attention. However, with repeated practice and reinforcement, the association between the sight of the musical notes and the corresponding finger movements becomes stronger. As a result, over time, you are likely to play the correct notes more automatically and effortlessly. So, kapag lagi mo daw ginagawa yung isang bagay like ayun nga kagaya sa nabanggit yung pagpe-play ng piano, um, through times hindi mo napapansin na effortless mo na siyang nagagawa or, mas, gumagaling ka na dun sa bagay na yun dahil nga palagi mo siyang ginagawa. Ayun lamang naman ng main thought ng law of exercise. Okay, next slide po tayo sa mga example. Ayan, yung mga example dito like kagaya niyan yung hmm, sa pagre-report for example, 'di ba? Pagka 'di ba may times na hindi pa natin siya nama-master kapag nasa harap tayo ng um, mga kaklase natin. Um, Kapag once na palagi ka ng nagre-report sa harapan, effortless mo na siyang nagagawa. Ayun, next po tayo. Ayan, parang gano'n lang din po 'yan.
So, ayan. The first one is the law of readiness. Law of readiness of Thorndike pertains to the teacher's readiness and potential to bring parties to negotiations, as well as factors that encourage them to come up with an agreement or understanding. Ang simple meaning lang naman ng readiness is learners must be ready kapag tinuturuan mo sila, like for example yung nasa may primary school pa lang sila, kahit na anong ituro mo sa kanilang sports, if hindi sila ready sa ganong sports, hindi nila matututunan yung ganong sports. For example, nung junior high school, bago kami pumasok ng PE class namin bago mag-start yung PE class namin meron kaming sinasagutan na form, which is yung diagnostic test. Ano ibig sabihin ng diagnostic test na yon? Ang purpose nun is para malaman ng teacher kung gaano ka ready yung physical and mental ability namin sa gagawin naming activity. So ayun, sabi nga nila, individuals learn best when they are physically, mentally, and emotionally ready to learn, and they do not learn well if they see no reasons for learning. So ayun nga, kapag hindi talaga physically and mentally ready yung isang students, parang hindi mo siya matututunan kahit anong learnings na gawin mo. Isa pa pong example is, sabi dito na, learning can only take place if the person is ready to learn. Di ba tayo, before tayo pumasok sa first year college natin is nanggaling tayo sa senior high school. So, ang ginawa natin ng senior high school is nag-aral, nag-prepare para maging ready sa tatahakin nating college life. So, meaning to say, may step-by-step process ng learnings para maging ready ang isang bata. So, next slides po. Doon papasok yung law of readiness.
So, ayan, another example po dito is nagkakaroon din tayo ng mga, as teacher, nagkakaroon din dapat tayo ng kaalaman na kung saan dapat ma-assess natin kung saan magaling yung isang bata. For example po, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga tuwing first day ng mga pasok natin before sa high school, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga pre-test na kung saan doon sumasalamin kung ano ba yung mga alam natin, kung saan tayo mahina. For example po sa math, as teacher, dapat malaman natin nga kung saan mahina yung bata. And sa assessment na yun, malalaman natin kung ano mga dapat pang i-improve sa kanila. An example din is yung sa example din of sa art. Nagkakaroon din pa ng strategies yung mga teacher diyan, hindi lang para matuto yung bawat mga, hindi lang para matuto o malaman ng mga teachers kung ano ba yung mga dapat gawin nila, i-improve nila. Nakakatulong din to sa mga teachers para magkaroon din tayo ng kaalaman kung saan din tayo mag-a-adjust at kung paano natin makapadali yung mga lesson natin at paano pa nila ma-adapt na mabilis na maintindihan yung isang ginagawa natin.
Ito na po tayo sa law of effect. The law of effect states that behaviors followed by favorable consequences are more likely to be repeated, while actions or behaviors followed by unfavorable consequences are less likely to be repeated. So, and po, explain ko na, no? Mas madali lang po siyang maintindihan sa gantong way. Kapag gumawa ka ng isang bagay at naging maganda yung resulta niya, parang yung willingness mo na ulitin-ulit yun is nag-i-increase siya. Parang gusto mo siyang ulit-ulitin kasi nga maganda yung kinalabasan niya. So kapag yung action mo naman is medyo hindi maganda yung kinalabasan, parang matatakot ka na or hindi mo na ganun kagustong ulitin siya. Kasi nga hindi naging maganda yung resulta niya. So next na po tayo sa example. So, ayan po. Example po dyan sa unang picture po. Sa classroom, may recitation kayo. Nagtaas ka ng kamay kasi confident ka sa sagot mo at alam mo talaga na tama yung sagot mo. So, pagkasabi mo ng sagot mo sa teacher mo, pinalakpakan ka ng classmates mo at pinuri ka ng teacher mo kasi nga nagustuhan nila at nasatisfied sila sa sagot mo. So, yun parang sa mga susunod na araw, parang nagustuhan mo ulit na sumagot at magtaas ng kamay kasi nga parang nagustuhan mo yung pagpuri nila sa'yo. Yun, kasi at maganda nga yung kinalabasan. So, dito naman sa kabilang picture, parang ito yung unfavorable consequences. Parang sumagot ka at parang hindi ka gano'n na-satisfied sa sagot mo. Parang hindi mo na siya parang na-frustrate ka at hindi mo na siya gustong ulitin kasi nga hindi maganda yung kinalabasan. So, gets po ba? Parang gano'n lang po. Gano'n lang po siya kadaling intindihin.
What is law of primacy? Initial learning experiences tend to have a more profound impact, are more likely to be retained, underscoring the significance of what is learned first in leaving a lasting impression on the memory. Para madali lang din po natin intindihin, ito po yung mga learning na na-experience natin from the past na kung saan ito yung mga hindi natin makakalimutan. And for example po is yung sa yung sa pagbabasa. Ayan. Sa pagbabasa po, 'di ba, talagang meron siyang process na kung saan nung bata tayo, tinuturuan tayo ng Baby Bobo, then after that, habang tumatagal yon, nadadala natin siya. So, yun yung mga bagay na, dito ako nag-start magbasa. Parang kumbaga, meron siyang impact sa atin na hindi kaagad nawawala. Compare ngayon na kung saan, kunyari ngayon, nag-report tayo ngayon, parang hindi siya na totally memorable. Kumbaga, mas memorable yung noon. For example din po is yung for the first time mo mag-report sa klase, nagkakaroon siya ng impact sa'yo. Kunyari, lalo na pag meron yung mga teachers mo is meron good feedback sa'yo, lalo na mga intindihan yung mga mga klase mo. And another example po is yung sa yan. Para isahan na lang din po, yung sa skills, sa sport and sa talent, kunyari yan po. Sa skills, nagkakaroon naman talaga tayo ng process kung paano tayo matututo sa isang bagay, kung paano yung gagawin natin. At doon, parang kumbaga sa badminton, ayan. Siyempre, nagkakaroon kayo ng training, kumbaga, doon yung nalalaman yung mga technique na kailangan yung gawin, doon yung mga bagay na kailangan niya i-improve. Tapos, habang tumatagal yun, nagkakaroon siya ng impact sa'yo na kailangan mo siyang i-develop para kumbaga, yung nangyari from the past is talaga nagkakaroon siya ng mahalaga sa'yo. Ganito yung ginagawa ko pala noon na kailangan kong i-improve. Ganun din po sa talent.
Law of intensity. Next charts. What is law of intensity? The law of intensity pertains to how strongly or intensely an emotion is built between teacher and the learner, such that the stronger the emotion being built with the learner in class about a certain topic, the higher the tendency for retention. For example, when a teacher asks students to watch a movie that is related to the topic, the more that the student relate to the characters in the movie, the more they will remember it. Furthermore, this law is applied when teachers are asked to do a role play about the topic being studied to make them feel and internalize the essence of the discussion, thereby gaining higher retention. Next po. Halimbawa, example po nung nasa picture. Binigyan po sila ng laruan para mas makarelate sila sa mga gagawin nila. Halimbawa po sa grade 1, pinagdadala sila ng popsicle stick para mas makarelate sila sa actual na pagbibilang. Okay. Next po. That's all.
What is law of recency? Things most recently learned are best remembered, while the things learned some time ago are remembered more difficulty. Next slide po. For example, in the classroom, since this is student-centered, magpapaquiz yung teacher sa mga learner at yung mga learners, ang gagawin is magre-review sila sa quiz nila. So, nung time na nag-quiz sila, na-refresh pa rin yung lesson sa utak nila. Since nire-review nila yung nangyari at doon naalala nung nag-quiz sila, doon naalala nila at nasagutan lahat yung pinapaquiz ng teacher. Pero compared sa surprise quiz, na last week ni lesson at bigla ang nagpa-quiz, hindi lahat maaalala kung ano bang topic kasi bukod sa hindi sila nakapag-review, nahihirapan sila i-remember yung lesson, lalo na kung mahirap. You can easily remember the last things you wrote down but you can't recall items in the middle of your list. Ito ay nagpo-focus sa memory natin. From the word recency or ano ba yung recency? Yung like similar siya sa word na recent. Recent is bago pa lang. Tayo naaalala natin yung isang bagay kapag bago pa lang siya. Unlike sa mga bagay na lumipas na. In conclusion, mas maalala ng student yung isang pangyayari kapag kakatapos lang. Unlike sa mga bagay na matagal na dahil ito ay lumilipas din. Next slide po.
Sunod naman natin is yung subordinating laws. Una dito is yung law of analogy. The law of analogy suggests that learners tend to apply familiar knowledge or pattern to new situation. Itong law of analogy is ito yung powerful cognitive tools that helps learner connect new information or concept to what they already know. Dito pinaghahambing yung dalawang magkaibang bagay, highlighting their similarities. Si Edward Thorndike ay ine-emphasize niya yung value ng analogical thinking, kung saan kapag naka-encounter yung mga learner ng bagong sitwasyon or problema, magagamit ng learner yung existing knowledge and experiences niya to make sense this unfamiliar context. Next slide po. Example nito is yung katulad na nasa picture. Pabalik po. Katulad nung nasa picture, pinapakita dito yung guro is nagpakita ng picture ng aso at ng puno. Dito papasok yung analogical thinking. Iisipin ng bata, yung dog is type of animals. While sa tree naman is integral component of forest. Pareha sila, both relationship highlight the interconnectedness of living system. And another example nito is yung comparing the process of photosynthesis in plants to factory converting raw materials into products. Alam naman natin kapag photosynthesis is a process by which green plants, algae, and some bacteria convert sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water into glucose and oxygen. In simple terms, plants use sunlight energy to produce foods and release oxygen as byproduct. Ang pagdating naman sa factory is alam natin na ang factory is meron silang production line where raw materials are transformed into finished goods. Sa madaling salita is yung plants ay gumagamit ng sunlight for energy and yung factories rely on electricity or other energy sources. At sa pagko-compare ng photosynthesis sa factory, yung student mabivisualize niya na may step-by-step process. At ano nga ba yung paano natin, yung mga teaching strategies na pwede natin magamit? Una dito is yung ina-encourage natin yung student to find analogies with a given domain. For example, sa antonym analogies, panagbigay tayo ng yung night is day at yung right naman is ano. Iisipin ng bata, yung sa binigay natin na first word is night, day, ibig sabihin sa right is left. Ganun siya kapag analogical thinking. Next slide po. Law of assimilation. The law of assimilation relates to how individuals incorporate new information into existing mental structure schemas. Dito involves adding new information to our existing knowledge base. It allows us to fit new experience to our current cognitive structure. Dito yung mga learners is kapag naka-encounter sila ng bagong sitwasyon, kino-compare nila ito sa previous learned scenario. Sa paggagawa nila nito, they can give a response based on analogy, applying their existing knowledge to the current situation. For example, diyan sa litrato, pinakita nung guro yung zebra, yung bata nag-aral ng various of animals. Iisipin ng bata na yung zebra is horse dahil they might assimilate this information by relating it to what they already know about the horse. Iisipin niya, a zebra look a horse with black and white stripes. In that way, they incorporate the new information, yung zebra, into existing mental framework horses. Yung assimilation play important role in how we learn about the world. As we encounter new things, we interpret them based on our existing beliefs and experiences. Yung dito naman, gagamitin naman natin sa strategies is magpo-promote tayo ng critical thinking. Dito ina-encourage natin yung bata to analyze and question information, compare and contrast concepts from different cultural contexts, foster open dialogue where students can express their viewpoints. Ayun lamang.